Do you want to be dangerous? I don't think this is an obvious question for men. Some of you may immediately say yes, but then I think many of you would say no, or I'm not entirely sure. I've worked with men in the very vulnerable space of dating and relationships since 2008, and it's interesting to observe that most men are trying so hard to be nice and civil, while mostly subconsciously craving to be more dangerous. But what do I mean by this? And why am I so sure that most of you watching secretly crave to be dangerous? Imagine for a moment your friend sets you up on a date with a girl. Or to be fair, it could be some LGBTQ individual in their feminine. And you've just finished the date, you think it went quite well. And you press your friend for any feedback they've heard about how the girl felt. What words would you most like to have used to describe her thoughts about you? Would it be A, nice, sweet, cute, trustworthy? Or would it be B, sexy, mysterious, edgy, naughty? For most of us, to be thought of as the second category is much more exciting, isn't it? But why? From a very young age, most males exhibit more than a passing fascination with danger. We played with toy soldiers, we shot each other in video games, we role-played action fighting scenes with each other. The list goes on. Now, I know that some people like to make the argument that this isn't an inherently masculine trait, that rather these are society's expectations being thrust upon young boys. However, even when researchers have tried to give young boys more gender-neutral toys to play with, invariably they still ended up making their Barbie dolls fight. And even more damning, we also see similar kinds of behavior in a variety of intersex children. So an example of this would be that you can have a phenotypical girl that is a child who is born with a vagina, but they actually have testes inside their bodies creating testosterone. So these young humans generally experience a culturally typical female upbringing because it's rarely diagnosed at birth and only discovered when they never end up menstruating. And yet, they still generally gravitate more towards playing rough games with the boys than playing house and having tea parties with the other little girls. And so it appears to be a deeply embedded hormonal part of the masculine to be fascinated by violence and danger. Now, obviously, as we age and better integrate into society, we learn to temper these fascinations somewhat, but they never die. The masculine craves to be seen as capable of being dangerous. Most boys and men, we feel this in our guts instinctively, whether we've ever consciously considered it or not. So when the feminine thinks of us as sweet and cute, while these aren't negative terms at all, they suggest a complete lack of danger. It suggests that she saw you as a completely tame and safe creature. That hits a nerve for many men because, firstly, deep down inside, most of us like to think of ourselves as at least a little bit dangerous. And her comments shatter that self-perception. And secondly, because we're all subconsciously aware that the feminine appears to be most responsive to men who are at least a little bit dangerous. Just look at almost every romance novel written for women. Twilight Saga, 50 Shades of Grey, and even in a more subtle way, Pride and Prejudice. The object of women's desires in these books are not tame and safe. Instead, they're always a little bit dangerous and mysterious. But this isn't a video about dating. Dating contexts just make our desires to be dangerous clearer to us. Dangerous doesn't mean we are violent or rude to others. Dangerous means we won't shy away from conflict. Dangerous means we will go after what we want without shame. Dangerous means you won't let yourself be controlled by others, if you don't want to be. And because we can't be controlled, and we're in touch with the wilder parts of our nature, we'll always exude an aura of not being completely safe. Dangerous means you have a lifestyle that allows you to indulge in danger from time to time, whether that's through sport or spirited debate, or allowing yourself to think and discuss dangerous topics, or perhaps exposing yourself to the wild. Whatever it is for you, flirting with some level of danger is a regular part of your life. When you're connected with your wild nature without shame, even when you still treat others well and remain civilized, that connection to what makes you a bit dangerous makes you feel alive. It makes you feel like a man. And as one masculine being to another, that feels incredible. Of course, being dangerous isn't all there is to being a mature masculine man, but it is a critical piece of the puzzle that isn't so politically correct to talk about right now. So I want you to walk away from this video and just ask yourself, if I were to be as honest as possible, am I as dangerous as I dream of being? Or do I hold back and instead be tame and civilized the way I was raised to be?